Welcome to another episode of Sports Talk. I'm your host, Mike Bruck. On this week's show, we'll be sitting down with boys basketball. The coaches will come in and give us a heads up on how their year has started. We'll also have Dennis Baker's State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week. All of that coming up next on Sports Talk. We're joined now by McKinney Lion head basketball coach, Wes Watson. Coach, welcome back to Sports Talk.
Thanks, Mike. It's good to be here.
Well, it's good to have you back. As you talk a little bit about your basketball team this year, tell us, as you finished last season, prepared for this season, what was your focus in the offseason? What were you looking to achieve?
Our biggest focus in the off season was, one of the things we didn't do real well last year is we didn't shoot the ball well. And in district play, what the competition is like in our district. We had relied on turning people over, creating easy baskets for ourselves with our pressure. And the teams in our district, we turned them over. Our pressure affected them, but it didn't affect them like what we were accustomed to. So we didn't shoot the ball well. We didn't shoot the ball well behind the arc last year. We got to where we weren't finishing around the basket last year. Some of that had to do with the size we were up against. And then we didn't shoot the ball well at the free throw line at all. So, a big part of our focus was knowing that we weren't going to be a real big team this year was just get better shooting the basketball, because we were going to, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. We're going to attack the paint. We're going to try to get ourselves to the free throw line more because we've got guys that we think can shoot the ball well this year, and that's really it. And we lost a lot of guys. 8 kids graduate, so. We just wanted to try to get, the guys that we have now as much experience as we could, within our system. So, being a team that really shoots the ball well, values each possession, because, we don't have the size we had last year. We're not going to be able to extend a lot of possessions, getting a lot of offensive rebounds, so we better shoot it well.
Well, you lost a lot of people from last year's team, but who did you have coming back from last year's team that you were expecting to contribute consistently?
John Trell Rockamore, got better and better as the year went on last year. By the second half of the district, he was starting for us. His leadership, his athleticism, some of the versatility he gives us on the floor. Obviously, Remington Edwards is another one. Remington started a bunch of games last year. He's pretty versatile as well. He can play the point. He can play the off-guard position. He's really good at attacking the paint, and he's like having a second point guard on the floor.
And he goes to the free throw line a lot. He draws a lot of fouls.
He does. He does a really good job getting to the free throw line. Shot 21 of them the other night against Frisco. So that's a big part of his game. And then, we had Preston Smith coming back from last year. Preston, didn't play a whole lot last year, but he had some big shots for us. And we definitely missed him. We definitely missed his, him being a threat from the outside, because he got hurt right after the Plano East game, the last game of the first half of district. So we were without Preston the second half of district last year, and him being a threat from the outside hurt us a little bit. But in his absence, Mickey Mead, who's our other returning, player from last year, was able to get some valuable time toward the end of last year. But it's those 4 guys are the ones that we had coming back from last year's team.
Have you had any luck with move-ins or freshmen that have contributed?
We do have a freshman right now that is off to a tremendous start to his high school career. E.J. Clark, he's a really good basketball player. He's a very advanced player for a freshman. Very unselfish, shoots the ball extremely well, hates to lose, and those are all qualities that you want in a player.
Well, as you tried to mold this group into a team for this, each season's different. As you tried to mold this new group in, and you started your first couple of games, what were you realistically expecting from a young group, inexperienced varsity group with only a couple of returners who had contributed significantly. What were you expecting at start?
Well, we've always said that, we expect to be good. We expect to be able to compete. And we knew that going in that our schedule was going to be difficult. We felt like the games on our schedule, we were capable of winning all of them. We were also capable of losing all of them. It was just a pretty competitive schedule for us. And as it turns out, with the exception of really one game, it's been just like that. We've lost the games we've lost, with the exception of the Highland Park game, have all been really close. The Rockwall game at the beginning of the year, it was pretty one-sided. We had 4 starters out that night, so that probably had a little bit to do with that. But everything's been pretty close. We've been competitive, and it's just it's a mistake here or there that if we could get corrected, the outcome could have been different in some of those games. Be it missing free throws, missing a block out, turning down a charge, not getting on the floor for a loose ball, just little things like that. Had we done those things in some of those closer games, it could have changed the outcome. So, but I'm pretty pleased with how hard we're playing right now. We've got to get a little bit better with the cerebral part of the game. I think early in the year, we preached this a lot leading into the year. Yeah, we're going to play fast like we always have. We're going to shoot a lot of threes like we always have. But we got to understand that not every shot's a good shot. Just because we want to shoot it fast doesn't mean we want to settle for a bad shot. So I think that's one thing that we've improved on since the beginning of the season. Guys are starting to understand, shot selection better. So I'm pretty pleased with where we are right now. I would love for our record to be flipped, but it is what it is, and we learn from it, we move on, and we're going to be a better team, come January.
Now, did you choose your tournaments this year? You get to choose several tournaments, but did you choose them this year with that in mind of building, or just competition, or a little of both? What were you thinking?
We have been in the Keller tournament before. We like the tournament. The competition's good, and the competition got even better this year. And we were able, actually, in our second round game, we got matched up against one of the best players in the country, Miles Turner from Euless Trinity. And it turned out that was one of our better games of the year. We got down early in the game, but we shot it really, really well, and we continued to battle, and it was a 2-point game with 4 seconds left, and then Turner went to the free throw line, closed us out, hitting a couple of free throws there at the end. But the competition in that tournament's really good. We liked it. We were really excited to go to the Prosper tournament. One of my former assistants, John Ellis, is the head coach up there, and I know he was going to put on a terrific tournament because he puts a lot into everything he does, and we were real excited about that. Competition was good. The venue was going to be great, and then we had the ice storm, so that took that away from that. That actually wiped out 4 games, and it would have been really nice to have had those 4 games. But we move on, and we're actually going to go down to Waco Midway for our Christmas tournament this year, and it'll be a good opportunity for our team to get away from the normal day-to-day routine, get out of town, be alone, allow us to bond with each other a little bit, and hopefully grow a little bit as a team and play against some different competition. A lot of it's going to be Central Texas competition, so that'll be fun.
Now, when do you start district play? Is it right after Christmas?
Actually, when we will go to Waco the morning of the 26th. We'll come back on the 28th, and then we will have a game at Prosper on December the 30th, and then we will play Denton Ryan that Friday the 3rd, and then Coppell Tuesday the 7th of January, and then we're at Plano West on the 10th, Friday the 10th.
So Friday the 10th, you kick it off with district play, but still, you've got a lot of non-district games to play.
We do. We've got, I think we're going to play 7 games between now and Plano West. So, great opportunities for us to continue to improve and hopefully be playing our best basketball rolling into that Plano West game.
Well, now, give us a little bit of handicapping here. Going into district play, Who are the teams that you think that you're going to have to gun for? They're going to be leading at the start.
Well, I mean, I think everyone would probably tell you that Plano West and Allen, just have a lot of firepower. They're both of them are really, really good. I mean, I've seen Allen a couple of times, and their starting five is a really impressive looking high school starting five. Plano West got some highly rated players on the team. I mean, they're going to be really, really good. Plano East, defending champion, going to be really good. And really, there's this district. There's not a night off.
Right.
You got to find a way. If you want to get in the playoffs, you got to find a way to be better than two teams. And that's the good part about the 6-team district. But the bad thing is there's not a bad team. There's not one team in our district that you can look at and say, oh yeah, there's one right there.
Right.
You got to come out and you got to play every night, and but our expectation is to get into the playoffs, and we know we're going to have to work really, really hard for that to happen because there won't be any nights off.
Well, so far to this point in the season, who are the players that have really stood out the most for you, that have really contributed?
Well, I'd be lying if I told you that I expected our freshman E.J. Clark to be averaging over 19 points a game this year. I mean, I knew he was going to be really, really good.
Right.
Okay. But he's probably exceeded expectations. I mean, he's just he's a really good basketball player. Like I said, he's very advanced for his age, and he's going to be a phenomenal basketball player by the time he leaves. Remington Edwards, like I said, he's a guy that is like having a second point guard on the floor with him. He gets a lot of other guys' shots. He gets himself to the line. Preston Smith. Preston's just always been kind of a glue guy for us. He does everything we ask him to do. He's extremely coachable. He gives us great leadership. Hits some big shots for us. Plays really, really hard on the defensive end as well. Marcus Cross is a young man that's just really given us tremendous energy to start the year. He's leading us in rebounding. He's one of our leading scorers on the year, and he's got a great motor on him. He's going to play hard, as long as he's out there, and he's a competitor. And then John Trail, who's kind of been, hobbled with some, nagging little injuries. Anytime he's out there, it's huge for us.
You just see his athleticism.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he just, against Frisco the other night, he made a comment at the end of the game. He said, I don't think I've ever dived that many times. And he was diving all over the place. And you got to have people like that out there because his teammates will feed on that. They'll feed off of that and, be willing to do some of the same things. But he gives us a lot of leadership, in addition to, being a factor on, rebound, in addition to being another scorer out there on the floor. I mean, he's a tremendous, leader for our team. So, we've had some other guys that have done a good job, within their roles, and I think our roles are starting to become a little bit more defined as we get closer and closer to district play.
All right. Well, once again, we want to thank you for being here. That's Wes Watson of McKinney High School Lions basketball. Next up, Jason Burton of McKinney Boyd.